Today I fucked up by saying the word kickbacks to my doctor. She asked why I had not accepted the specialist's recommendation for a new drug. I explained that he, the specialist, was pressuring me so hard to take a med designed to help two conditions when I only had one of the two. There was a rare, but possible horrific side effect. I wasn't willing to risk it. Also, when I agreed to a different drug, again, under pressure, the specialist clapped his hands and yelled, "Whoop." I said to my doc, it was like, cha-ching. Kickbacks. Oops. Never say that word to a physician. She was offended and said so. She basically indicated that I am free to find another doctor. I sincerely apologized. I had tears in my eyes. Now I feel too ashamed to ever go back because she wrote it in my chart. I am the I truly effed up. Edit. Thanks to all who have replied so far. I want to share a bit more, if I may. The primary reason for my visit was to fill out IFMLA forms for my employer. After I said kickbacks about the specialist, the PCP said she is not paid to fill out my paperwork. I said, that's strange, because I get charged for the visit. She turned my documents APPT into an annual physical, asking follow-up questions on years ago ailments, etc. Did she do that so she could bill for the appointment? Edit number 2. Thanks to those who have pointed out to me that accepting kickbacks is a serious crime. I honestly didn't know. I thought it was only immoral. Thanks to you for showing me how very wrong I was. The doctor didn't tell me this. However, she accepted my apology and asked me to come back in 6 months. Too long did not read. I said the word kickbacks to my primary care doctor. She was offended. Opening square bracket dot. In the USA, you can see how much physicians get paid. My neurologist gets around $80 a month. Companies like Medtronics bring in office lunches. My wife went into the and the purpose was to get her into hospice. Colon has failed, and after the past 6 years of being housebound, with 1 year on TPN, very little left for her. Well, the good doc came by and told her TPN will save you. It's the cure she is looking for. Well, it's a nasty reaction, and it's not good. Last year, the good doc got paid over $350,000 in consulting fees. 95% of your lifelong medical bills occur in the last 5 days of your life. Can someone from the US explain what the hell is a kickback, and why do doctors get angry when you say it? This post makes no sense to me, law. She wrote it in your chart? How's that part of your medical record? Why wouldn't she simply use the opportunity to educate you on the perceived merits instead of acting so personally wounded on behalf of another physician? I wouldn't have said it the way you did, but your doc seems a bit over the top. The clapping and whooping by the specialist would have weirded me out, too. You didn't accuse them of taking a kickback. Sounds like a case of oversensitivity. We're all supposed to pretend this kind of thing doesn't happen all the time. That's why she's offended. Or you had a heart attack and the doc was happy you finally decided to agree to the meds which will drastically increase your chance of living. Today I fucked up by texting my date instead of my girlfriend's. Today I fucked up by texting my date, instead of my girlfriend's, with a review of said date. I, 45F, have been dating off and on since my ex and I divorced in 2020. My 2 best girlfriends are also single and navigating the world of dating. We text about our dates. A week ago I matched with someone, 40M, on Hinge. We'll call him Joe for this post. Joe is wonderful. He has a PhD and is an associate professor at my collegiate alma mater. He grew up in the Midwest and moved to the Deep South for his job. Our conversations over text were engaging, intelligent, and witty. We met and had our first date last night. The date was awesome. We clicked in person, the conversation never ceased, we made each other laugh, and he was attractive in person. At the end he was in a hurry to leave, which I initially thought was odd, but he explained he had to get home to take his puppy out for a walk so he could pee. There was no kiss goodnight, but he did ask if I'd like to see him again. I said I would love to. We texted just a little bit this morning. I have a group text with my 2 girlfriends, and I picked up the phone to text them the details of my date with Dr. Joe. I told them where we met, we had drinks, I ate but he didn't because he does intermittent fasting, had a great time, no kiss goodnight,
and that we had both expressed interest in getting together again.
I also mentioned that Dr. Joe wanted to take things slowly, which I appreciated, and I said overall the date was a solid 8 out of 10. I hit send. My dumbass didn't text my girlfriends. I texted Joe my formal review of the date. I couldn't figure out how to unsend the text, so I bit the bullet and sent him an apology text explaining that it was intended for my friends and that I was beyond mortified. He found the whole thing quite funny and said he'd happily take the 8/10 rating. Still, I want to bury my head in the sand and am worried there may not be a second date. Too long did not read. Instead of messaging my girlfriends a review of the date I went on, I texted my date. I feel so stupid. Joe sounds like a cool dude. Glad he took it well. Lol. Do date outlines and follow-up reports on each outing. Have him grade your reports. Aw, this is so cute. As a man who is also getting back out there, it doesn't sound like you have anything to worry about. He took it in stride, was able to joke about it. If anything, he may just want to try and make that 10 out of 10 happen. I would suggest incorporating that into all your dates. It's a solid, oopsie, moment to really break through a lot of ice and let a guy know what's what. I would have taken the opportunity to ask about earning 2 bonus points somehow. I think you might be okay. Most first dates arranged anyway are usually not an 8/10 unless you seriously click right away. Or at least in my experience. So finding out a first date was an 8 was probably a good thing. Also, saying that you appreciated his view on going slow, not rushing, probably a bonus too. He might even feel a good relief that he got an 8 first time out, easing some worry on his side. Plus, if you end up together long term, this is a great first date story to tell people when they ask about how you met. So I say don't stress too much about it. And hey, he has a puppy too. And he cares enough about it to rush away from a first date to take care of it. I have to say, in my book, that is a big plus in any person. Seems like an okay guy based on his response, but NGL not eating on a date while watching your date do so is an awkward move. Getting an 8/10 despite that is impressive. I get intermittent fasting, but like why not reschedule? Also intermittent fasting despite the hype is not some godsend end all be all of health. To hold it in such high regard you don't eat on a first date is quite strange emo. Obviously I'm not one to judge. I don't know the dude, but I did IF in the past and I find this behavior quite amusing. Unless of course he told you in advance, then NVM lol. Today I fucked up by showing a picture of my crush to a mutual friend. Today I fucked up by showing a picture of my crush to a new girl. I, 16F, have liked this dude, 18M, for 5 years, and we met through religion. Most if not all the girls who know him have never liked him for the reason being he was a bit of a recluse, which gave me a false sense of security that once I was of age we could have dated. It's become an inside joke that I have no competition as majority of my friends are either related to him or like another dude. This dude and I have had some stuff happen between us that would have led to dating if there wasn't an age gap. We both acknowledged this and apparently he wanted something to happen once we both matured as he didn't want to date as a teen, which I didn't really either. Anyways, one of my friends had a cousin visit from a foreign country to live here. She, 18F, is also religious and very gorgeous. She is very beautiful and seems very nice on the outside but is not very liked by my community for being problematic. She has dated around a bit and stalked a lot of the men we mutually know, making her really infamous. I want to press the fact about her pretty privileged very hard cause. She could date literally anyone she likes and get away with it because of her looks. She is that beautiful. I didn't want to be rude and ignore her before I could meet her as I feel like it would be unfair otherwise. I myself aren't very pretty, but I don't think I'm ugly, and neither is my crush. Eventually I met up with a small friend group and my friend brought her cousin to the hangout, which I thought nothing of. During conversation about crushes, and she mentioned she had freshly came out a relationship and was talking about how boys aren't worth it and stuff, and the group sort of agreed till they brought up my crush and how long I had liked him. She wanted to see a picture and I was reluctant as in all honesty she's known for being a homewrecker, but I caved in and found a very nice picture of him to show. It was like her eyes lit up for 1 second before settling. She then went on about how good we would look together and how she could see us dating in the near future. I wasn't sure how good of an idea it was to introduce her to him, but I trusted her as she said she wasn't dating at the moment.
This sort of gave me a confidence boost as I was always shy with him and he was likewise. Turns out I was very wrong. The day we met up at a gathering, via religion, and she was chatting him up, and before I knew it afterwards she met him, she followed him on all socials and had been talking. She blocked me from her stories and in attempts to impress him with edgy humor, wrote some racial slurs under his posts for some reason.
From what I know, he's reciprocating this and it's mutual. I know this all just seems like teenage matter and eventually I'll get over it, but I struggle with the idea of dating outside my religion due to how complicated it could get, and I just lost the only person I was willing to be with. She's been ignoring me since every time I see her and the tension is unbearable. I really wish I didn't confirm that I liked him, cause this probably wouldn't have happened. I don't own him, I'm aware. I can't stop who likes him, but this is the worst mistake I've ever made.
If she hadn't had seen the photos of him, she wouldn't even know who he is, and it's only been a week and they are practically dating.
I don't know what advice you guys could give, but I just need to rant because I feel like this is the worst case scenario that could have played out. Edit. People keep confusing this, so I'll explain here. I am not any type of Christian or Muslim. If I say my religion, I think someone would recognize the story. Also, my crush liked the comments about the racial slur, not said it back. Which is still really weird and I don't condone that behavior. Too long did not read.
One of my friends asked to see a picture of my crush and I showed her, and she apparently fell in love at first sight because she decided to chat him up, get his socials, and 1 week from that day they're dating, talking stage, and she has ignored me completely since then. This is heartbreaking, but if he is charmed by her edgy racist comments, consider that you don't know him as well as you thought and trust he won't be the only guy you ever like.
She did you a favor. Now you know who he really is, thanks to her.
First of all, if he finds edgy racist comments clever, he's probably not the person for you.
Secondly, you seem to think she's problematic and all over the place with men. So, she'll date this one and toss him aside like the rest.
Then you can have him if you really want him, although I would seriously wonder why. It may seem like this is the only man in the world and you're gonna marry him. But he's not, and you won't.
You're too young to even be thinking long term. You've got 2 years left before either of you would consider dating.
That's 2 years he can be seeing someone else. Yes, even beautiful problematic girl.
Their romance will be short and probably dramatic by the end. So,
he likes the racial slur she posted. Consider it a bullet dodged.
Also, you sound smart enough that I hope you can escape whatever religion you are in. It does suck, but it's out of your control.
If she is in the same religion, it could have happened a different way. Don't be hard on yourself because you showed your friend his picture. You have a long life ahead of you and you will find other crushes, and down the road your person. Dude wanted to wait for you to be older, but I doubt he was going to stay single in the meantime.
He's laughing at her racist comments. He's for the streets.